Video 2, Too Much Money for Nothing. I'm Rick Nichols. I wrote a book entitled Make America Financially Great. This book is based on 15 years of research that included the 1913 Federal Reserve Act and the 1864 National Currency Act. These are the acts of Congress that set up the central bank system we are using now. The situation is these acts set up our central bank as a government-sponsored enterprise, which means that non-government people got government power. And the non-government people, who are the financial bad guys, became infinitely rich. They became infinitely rich by misusing the government power over the deposit slip. They misused the deposit slip by sending it to the accounting department to increase the balance of a bank account, but without depositing or transferring money into the account. I name this concept the depositless deposit slip. Favorite place for the financial bad guys to use a depositless deposit slip is to loan the United States citizens our national debt. The financial bad guys send a deposit slip to the accounting department and instruct them to increase the balance in Congress's reserve bank account. This is how money is made out of thin air. This is where money is made from nothing. This is free money for the financial bad guys, and their first step is to loan their free money to Congress as our U.S. national debt. Congress then spends the borrowed bank balances into the economy. Now citizens have to pay back principal and interest with tax dollars taken from our paychecks to pay back the financial bad guys for loaning us an accounting entry. The point is, Congress could have used the same depositless deposit slip to increase its bank account for free, without requiring citizens to pay back the financial bad guys. Since my book concentrates on the creation of new money, I will show you the effect of accepting a depositless deposit slip as our national debt. In short, I'm saying that the Federal Reserve System is designed so borrowing our national debt causes the inventory of money to increase. And that money increase causes prices to inflate. That price inflation causes the minimum wage to increase. My book displays a chart that shows the inventory of money and national debt consistently grew each year from 1965 to 2005. There are 5 columns: date, M3 money count, national debt, CPI, and minimum wage. The date shows the total of each category at the end of the year for 40 years. M3 money count shows the total amount of money inventory in the U.S. It adds up coins, Federal Reserve notes, checking account balances, savings account balances, and investment account balances. The third column shows the national debt. This includes the amount of depositless deposit slips that citizens have been forced to borrow from the financial bad guys. This is free money for the bad guys who loan the free money to the good guys, that's us citizens, and then the good guys have to pay the bad guys principal and interest. The financial bad guys win. The fourth column shows CPI. It stands for Consumer Price Index. This column shows the price of the same basket of goods that is purchased each year. The column shows the cost of the basket of goods inflates each year for 40 years. It starts at $31.50 in 1965 and inflates each year to cost $195.30 in 2005. The fifth column shows the minimum wage. It is the minimum hourly pay for 1 hour of human effort from a U.S. citizen. As the M3 money count increases, the price of the basket of goods inflates, and that inflation leads to an increase in the minimum wage. The point I want to make is the M3 money inventory starts with about $500 billion in 1965 and steadily increases each year to $10 trillion in 2005. Based on the specifications written in the 1913 Federal Reserve Act and a 2005 publication from the Board of Governors of the Federal Reserve, I'm reporting that most of the increase in M3 is due to the increase in the national debt. My model is Congress has been misinformed and is accepting a depositless deposit slip as borrowed dollars for our national debt and is paying principal and interest to the financial bad guys. When properly informed, Congress will be able to increase the M3 money count with its own depositless deposit slip, but without paying the financial bad guys tax dollars from citizens. This will save citizens from paying over $1 billion a week in principal and interest payments. But that's not the model taught by university professors today. My professors taught me the increase was based on a concept called fractional reserve banking. I ran the numbers several times. I can't make $500 billion in 1965, add in the addition of Fed notes for 40 years, and even ignore all the economic crashes, and end up with $10 trillion in 2005 by using fractional reserve banking as a model. My professor's answer isn't the correct answer. I can also tell that they didn't personally run the numbers. They were taught this information and passed it on to their students without confirming it is correct. Include me as a victim of this misinformation that is still taught to students. My book explains the sections of the 1913 Federal Reserve Act and 1864 National Currency Act that tricked Congress into giving the financial bad guys their power over checking accounts, savings accounts, investment accounts, Fed notes, and reserve accounts. The reality is Congress can get the money to pay for the coronavirus financial packages without borrowing. Congress simply uses a depositless deposit slip to increase its own account. M3 will go up, CPI will go up, minimum wage will go up, but the national debt won't go up, and that will save citizens over $1 billion per week in tax dollars that would normally be paid to the financial bad guys. My book is Make America Financially Great. Thank you for listening to the research of a fellow United States of America citizen.